Hello again, everyone. Welcome to a brand new edition of Big Time Sports. My name's Joe Dunn. Here's your invitation to stay with us for the next 25 minutes as we talk high school, a little college basketball all over Stark County, because it's that transitional period. We got the end of football, beginning of basketball, as we continue to bring you the best coverage in the area of both high school and college sports. Right now, as we get into week number 3 of the OHSAA state playoffs, there's only 3 Stark County teams left playing football: Massillon, McKinley, and East Canton. Congratulations to all 3 of those teams for big wins. Massillon beat Hoover 62-7, a game you watched right here on Big Time Sports. Hoover scored the first 7 points of the game, long touchdown pass, and then McKinley, or Massillon, came back with 62 straight points to win that game 62-7. McKinley knocked off Medina 30-7. Congratulations to Spider Miller and East Canton. They beat an undefeated Fairport team 46-26, and Indian Valley over Circleville 48-14. Meanwhile, we want to give credit to the Stark County teams that made it well into the playoffs. Lake got beat by Hudson. Jackson lost to Menor, and Manchester, not a Stark County team, but a team that plays in the PAC, lost to Girard 28-14. Congratulations to all the teams that played into week number 12 in the state playoffs. As always, Big Time Sports is scheduled to bring you our game of the week. This week we're scheduled to be out at Dalton for the Division 6 Region 21 game between Garaway and Dalton. Garaway comes in at 10-2, Dalton at 9-3. I'll be out there along with Troy Richardson for the play-by-play in color, a game you can watch right here Friday night at 11 o'clock and again on Saturday morning at 9. In addition to that Garaway-Dalton game, other games of interest in the area, McKinley will be up at Menor. Menor is undefeated, one of the best teams in the state of Ohio. Massillon finally on the road for only the 2nd time this year. They'll be at St. Francis de Sales. East Canton will be at Mogador, and Jonathan Alder at Indian Valley. So good luck to all those local teams. We'll talk about those results next week. As I said, we are right in that transitional period between football and basketball. We're going to start talking college basketball tonight. Jeff Young, the head basketball coach at Walsh University, is here. We're going to come back and talk Walsh University basketball right after this on Big Time Sports.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Rabbit Landscaping is Northeast Ohio's premier residential and commercial landscaping establishment in Jackson Township. They provide an ample amount of services including landscape design, hardscapes, deck and fence installations, outdoor lighting, lawn maintenance, leaf removal, and snow removal. Rabbit Landscaping aims to provide a quality, trustworthy landscaping service to your area. Call for a free quote at 330-936-7616.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. As we said, we are talking about college basketball today, and it's really our first look at college and high school basketball. From this point on, for the remainder of our weekly shows, we'll be talking either a college coach or a high school basketball coach. We're in that transitional period between the end of high school football, the beginning of high school and college basketball, and glad to have with us today a veteran head coach here at Stark County. Jeff Young is here, the head basketball coach at Walsh University. And Coach, always great to talk basketball with you, especially with the season right around the corner. And you've been there a long time. What, your first year was what, 2004, 2005? Does that sound right or not?
Yes, as head coach, and then 12 years prior to that as an assistant.
Every time I see you or talk anything about Walsh University, my mind goes directly to Bob Huggins, Dan Peters, and Randy Montgomery. I call them the three wise men because it's around the Christmas time. But do you ever stop and think about those guys and what they established there, and you're carrying on the tradition?
Yeah, all the time. Matter of fact, I ran into Randy. We had breakfast a couple days ago. So, you know, he stays in touch with our program, and he always has, actually. So it's always good to catch up with him. And of course, Dan Peters, who I played for.
Yeah, we lost him about a year ago? Or
Dan's been gone
more than
about
that, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I remember the date last year.
Yeah.
I mean, last month was about the same date. Yeah.
It was, and I stay in touch with his son on a weekly basis, and he's been in the college coaching ranks for years and years. And of course, Bob, you know, we're hoping to get him back to a game maybe this year even.
Great, great. Let's talk about the upcoming season. Looks like you're going to be in Puerto Rico later this week. Tell us how that developed and who you're going to play down there, and what will the competition be like down there?
Well, we've been working on it for a couple years, and last year it just wasn't going to fit into our schedule, and this year it was a better fit, so we've been planning on it for the last 3 or 4 months. So we'll play. There's actually 3 Division II Puerto Rico teams down there, so we're going to play 2 of them. Don't know a whole lot about them, but typically from what we hear, they're pretty competitive and they can be good at times.
Then, of course, you open up the season, I think, Tuesday, November 18th against West Virginia Wesleyan, and then you go into the GMAC. Tell us about the GMAC this year. Who are the teams to beat, and what are some of the challenges of remaining in that league?
Well, Findlay was picked to win the league preseason pool, which isn't surprising, even though last year they ended up winning the conference, but prior to that they kind of struggled for a couple years.
Yeah.
Kind of revamped their roster, revamped their style of play, and it paid off for them.
Tell us about some of the other good D2 leagues in the country. You know about the GMAC locally, but when you get into a tournament atmosphere and teams coming in from all over the country, what leagues jump out at you as maybe really good D2 leagues? Well,
as our league has grown, you know, I think we've become one of the better D2 leagues in the country.
For sure.
The GLIAC was up there and was probably stronger than us, 5 to 7 years ago, but they've lost some teams.
Yeah.
And some teams have come into our conference. So, they're always going to have their good teams, the Wayne States and the Grand Valley States and the Ferris States that have always made nice runs in the tournament, and typically we try to play those teams as much as we can.
Exactly. It's always been kind of fun to watch this time of year when the D2s play the big boys, play the power legs. You saw Northwood over Western Michigan, I think, last week, and Hawaii Pacific went into Boise State and beat them. And then you had Mercyhurst, who was, I think they were D2 for a long time.
Correct.
Now they're D1. I think this is their first year in D1.
Second year.
They went into Loyola and beat Loyola Chicago last week. So that transition, has that ever been a thought maybe with Walsh, because you got a great facility over there, maybe do up, and what would it take to do that? Well,
I think there's been some talk, especially since Mercyhurst made that move. I think a lot of schools like us will probably kind of see how that plays out for them. I think you do see the gap closing between good D2s and maybe some lower level D1s. We went over and scrimmaged Fairmont State last Thursday, and they already beat Northern Kentucky and Mercyhurst.
Wow.
And of course we beat Oakland 2 years ago, and Oakland goes on and wins the Horizon League. So, it's not unusual anymore, but, we'll kind of see how things play out.
It seems like a lot of the D1s are very reluctant to put them on the regular season schedule for that very reason, that they, you get on a neutral court, it's one thing, but you're never going to get them to come to your place. No,
and it's kind of lose-lose for them, actually. There's nothing they can gain. It's certainly a big deal for us. And the times are changing. The D1s they used to look for D2s for exhibition games, but now they're kind of playing each other. D1s versus D1s in exhibition games, and you don't see it as much anymore.
Exactly. But your schedule, we mentioned you go to Puerto Rico. How difficult is it to schedule, especially out of conference games, the way you want to challenge your guys, but you want to win basketball games?
Well, you do, and you have to, you have to keep your budget in mind as well. Obviously we'd like to play as many good teams as we can, but sometimes within our region, we could have to travel, 6 to 10, maybe 12 hours to get to those places. And, you know, it's like any other thing at Division I, II, or III. You know, it's hard to get teams when you've been pretty good to come play you.
Yeah.
So you're always fighting that, and you're doing the best you can to fit games in. And, you know, it looks like we did a pretty good job this year.
Let's talk about this year's basketball team. I know you brought a couple young guys over. We'll be meeting in a few minutes, but just looking at some of your freshman recruiting class, I know all these guys. I either watched them play or broadcast them they were playing. You did a great job bringing them really the best talent in Stark County this year.
Well, that's always kind of been our bread and butter anyway, Joe. Some of our better players over the years, even before my time, have been Stark County kids, or at least those surrounding counties. Yeah. And we've always filtered in other guys throughout the state, and a few guys maybe on the bordering states as well. But for whatever reason, it was a strong group last year in this area, and you know, a lot of those guys played together, whether it's AAU, yeah. They all knew each other, and it was kind of a trickle effect. Once we got one or two of them, we ended up signing 5 or 6 of them.
Exactly. What is the big transition they have to make from playing good high school basketball to playing a great brand of D2 basketball? Is it strength? Is it just playing against bigger, stronger guys? Or
yeah.
Is it just the speed of the game, or all that?
Yeah, I just had that conversation with a lot of our young guys. I mean, from a skill standpoint, you know, they're as good as anybody, you know, on our roster, but it's mostly strength.
Yeah.
And of course the speed of the game's different. That takes some time to get used to, but you know, some of their bodies just aren't ready for the physical play at the college level.
What about the weight training? You got to get them in, and you know, it's a different weight training for football and basketball, I'm sure. And what do you got to do to get them to that strength where they can go in and you can trust them?
Well, I think they start to understand that, you know, once they get on the floor with some of these older, stronger guys.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the name of the game now in college. Nobody wants to be young.
Right.
That's why the portal is so, you know, effective for a lot of these teams. You know, they're just grabbing kids with experience.
Exactly.
And so for a younger kid, you know, 18, 19 years old, sometimes you're going against a 24, 25-year-old that there's a big difference in strength and experience.
Yeah, for sure. You know, whatever happened up at Akron a couple of years ago when a guy named Enrique Freeman showed up unexpected, nobody knew about him. Yeah. Has that ever happened to you? A guy shows up maybe in first day of tryouts, you have no idea who he is, he shows up and he eventually becomes a part of your basketball team. That's probably doesn't happen that often.
Well, I think that story's, you know, a little unusual. From what I hear, they kind of found him in the library one day and asked him to come out. And of course, he grew from the time he graduated high school. And you know, those stories are always nice to hear. And we've had a few of those, but maybe not to that degree. Some kids that were in our program that, you know, maybe I didn't think could play right away, or maybe down the road, and all of a sudden, you know, 2 years later, they've hit the weight room, they figured some things out, and they become pretty good players.
Taking a look at some of the players you got coming back, I know Kobe Mitchell and Zach Odo are second team all GMAC last year. I'm guessing they're going to be your team leaders again this year.
They are, and you know, in my mind, you know, both those kids were first team players the year prior.
Yeah. And
we went through some struggles. We had a couple kids sitting out and a couple injuries that kind of set us back. We lost, you know, maybe the best player in the conference, Garrison Kiesler, decided to go in the portal, and we just couldn't replace him. So it definitely was a down year, but you know, we've got guys coming back from injuries, guys that are ready to go that sat out, and so far things look pretty good.
Very good. Coach, stay put. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll meet these players that are coming over, talking about Walsh basketball. They got a great season ahead of them. We'll talk about the schedule. We'll talk about preparation. So don't go away. We're back with more Big Time Sports right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports as we continue our conversation with head coach Jeff Young as we talk Walsh University basketball. They get ready to open up the season down in Puerto Rico later this weekend. Then their home opener will be Tuesday, November 18th over in North Canton against West Virginia Wesleyan. And Coach, you brought two young men with you. I know are going to be key members of the team. Why don't you introduce this guy to your left and what he means to their team this year?
Yeah, this is Caleb Schaefer. He's a redshirt sophomore from the Columbus area, and did a nice job for us last year. Really good three-point shooter. Does all the little things on the court, really smart and heady. And we're looking forward to another good year for him.
Caleb, welcome to the program. Good to talk to you. Well, how excited are you now? You've probably been playing basketball probably since, what, second or third grade? And how pumped do you get this time of year when you know another season, a lot more basketball is right around the corner?
Oh, yeah, it's a really exciting time. I mean, I used to play football when I was younger too, and it was always like exciting for me knowing, because I was always a basketball first guy, knowing that it was just right around the corner and like just a few more weeks to wrap up football and then just get right into basketball season all the time.
So basketball is always your first love. You probably played, as you mentioned, more than one sport, but what was that transition like in high school? You don't have to worry about that now, but that transition from football to basketball, that was a 2 or 3 week period, a month, or when you felt comfortable?
It was, our coach always told us whenever it felt comfortable, but like I said, I was always excited, so I probably took one day from our last football game and then I jumped right into our high school practices.
Sure. Coming to Walsh University, what were the things that interest you, and how'd you end up in North Canton playing basketball for Coach Young?
It was kind of a later decision down the line, and I had followed Division II basketball probably like my junior and senior years of high school, just like kind of as a goal of where I wanted to go. And obviously I had heard of Walsh and like all the past history and how good they have been in the past. And then I got on my visit here and I talked to JY and we had a good discussion, and I really liked the campus, and then I met with a lot of the guys and I felt like I could just fit in really well here.
Was the competition level what you thought it would be better? Did it take a while to get used to that level of play?
It definitely took a while to get used to. I redshirted my first year here, so those first like few months were definitely a good adjustment period for me. And I know you were talking about it earlier, like the Division II that beat the Division I's,
yeah.
And there's definitely like a thinner line between those two than people realize, and how good people are at the Division II level.
There's no doubt about that. When did you finally feel comfortable knowing that you could be a basketball player at Walsh? When did that kick in that, hey, I made a good decision, I'm going to be able to play here?
I think it was, well, my first year here, probably when we won the GMAC, that was probably when I realized that it was a good decision. Yeah. And then like on the court, it would have been last year at some point, just being able to be out there and make an impact and impact the game any way I could.
Yeah. We just talked to Coach Young. I'm sure you heard that about talking to his recruiting class this year and what they've got to do to get bigger and stronger. What did you have to do? Did you feel like when you came in you weren't strong enough to compete? And how did you get bigger and stronger? Was that just simply in the weight room, or what did you do?
Yeah, I definitely felt like I needed to put on some more muscle, so I lifted a lot, like probably twice a day when I was redshirting, and then like before games I would get a lift in and then a workout in, and it was just like, it's something that you have to build up along the year, and like it's a constant thing, like it's not just going to happen overnight. And obviously we do our testing with our strength, and it wasn't where I wanted it to be at when I came in here, and so I worked that whole year, and I'm still working at it. It's just a constant thing that it never really stops, and you have to constantly build it up if you really want to get to where you want it to be at.
Exactly. people that haven't seen you play or aren't watching, they're going to come over and watch Walsh this year. What's the strength of your game? What do you have to get better at? What are you doing well right now? And you kind of set some goals. I want to get better this year.
A strength of mine is definitely my three-point shooting, and on the offensive end, and then on the defensive end, I try and put myself into good positions and really just like outwork people on the defensive end, especially in the post area. Offensively, I need to probably get better at attacking more and closeouts, and then when I do get to the rim, just finishing better. And then defensively, on the perimeter, just moving my feet better, especially when we switch ball screens, just attacking that switch harder, and just moving my feet faster.
Final question. I always like to talk to guys about their academic load. What are you majoring in, and what would be a career path for you after they graduate from Walsh?
I'm majoring in biochemistry.
Wow, okay.
And so a career path I would like to that is just going into the research field and just working in the laboratory and trying to research mainly diseases and just seeing like what I can do and where I can help out in that field. Well,
I'll tell you, sounds like a great career and a tough major. I'll tell you what, something that I would not challenge myself with. Coach, I don't think you would either, right?
That's way over my head, Jeff.
There you go. Stay put. We're going to take a break, come back and meet one more Walsh University player right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
With Bell Store's Bell Buddy Rewards, you save in-store and at the pump. New members receive 20 cents off per gallon as a welcome gift. Everyday savings are made easy. Instantly enjoy 3 cents off per gallon just for being a member. When you spend $25 in store, unlock an extra 5 cents off per gallon on your next fill-up. Buy 5, get 1 free. Track your drinks and earn free coffee, fountain, icy, and espresso with drink clubs. So start saving today. Download the Bell Stores app and sign up for Bell Buddy Rewards.
Wouldn't it be nice if everything was easy? Primetime Health Plan is easy to choose and easy to use. That's why we've had the highest customer service rating for 10 straight years. Call 330-363-7407 to get all the benefits you deserve. Medicare made easy with Primetime Health Plan. Primetime Health Plan is an HMO POS plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Primetime Health Plan depends on contract renewal. Every year, Medicare evaluates plans based on a 5-star rating system.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports, our final segment. Head coach Jeff Young is here. We're talking basketball the rest of the way. We'll be covering high school football, of course, in the playoffs, but from this point on, every week we'll have a different high school basketball coach on and talk about his program and talk about high school basketball all over the Stark County area. So if you're a hoops fan, you want to be here each week on Big Time Sports. And Coach, let's talk a little bit quickly before we meet our final player about high school basketball in the state of Ohio, because I looked at your roster, I think, yesterday. I'm not sure if you have anybody from outside the state of Ohio, maybe 1 or 2, but you've there's one we're going to talk to.
Right
okay,
here, yeah.
But high school basketball, you know, everybody talks about, I may be getting in trouble by saying this, everybody talks about high school football and great football in the state of Ohio, but I think high school basketball, especially in Stark County in Ohio, may be vastly underrated.
Oh, I agree, Joe. And you know, people ask me, "Where's your roster from?" And you know, over the years, you know, Ohio is really all we need to recruit for the most part. And again, we've taken some kids from outside the state, but and over the years, there's been different pockets that have been kind of hot in Ohio.
Yeah.
Columbus has been one of those pockets the last 4 or 5 years, but you know, the Stark County area, Joe, has always been very good for high school basketball.
Exactly right, and a lot of good players coming out. Talking about Columbus, I'm not sure where their growth's going to stop. They keep growing north. It's going to, all of a sudden, it's going to be one mass of people
well, and that's part
Akron
of it. Yeah, those schools have grown and expanded.
Got, what, 4 Olentangy schools, right?
And you know, 20 years ago there was 1.
Exactly.
And, so that's been a part of it, and you know, in Stark County, you have such good high school basketball coaches.
Good coach, very good coach.
Very good coaches that run good programs, and that's part of our recruiting process. We like kids that have been coached in high
Exactly.
school and, come in kind of knowing what to expect.
Got about 4 minutes left. Time to talk to this young guy. Why don't you introduce him?
Yeah, this is Caleb Brooks, another redshirt sophomore. He actually started his college career at Ohio Dominican and then sat out at Walsh last year, and he's ready to go this year.
Caleb, welcome to the program. Welcome to Walsh University. Tell us how you got here. You started at Ohio Dominican down there in that Columbus area. You end up here at Walsh, hoping for a great career. Tell us about how that all happened.
Yeah, so like you just said, I started my freshman year there, and then once that season ended, I hit the portal, and JY was actually one of the first coaches to reach out to me, and I had a nice phone call with him, and I got to take a visit by myself, and then took another visit with my family later in the summer, and I just loved the campus. I thought, as far as GMAC campuses go, it's definitely one of the more nicer ones.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I've been over there, and it looks to me like a little Notre Dame with the everything that you walk in there, and I agree. It's a beautiful campus, and I'm sure it didn't take much for you to be sold on Walsh University. What's your major and what we hope to do after basketball's over?
Yeah, right now I'm majoring in finance. A goal of mine is to own my own financial firm one day, so just helping people with their money, that's one of the goals of mine.
Well, tell us about being a basketball player. What's your strengths? What do you do well, and what do you got to get better at?
I'd say offensively, one of my strengths is being able to pass out of the post.
Okay.
Just throwing it in, and like people like Kobe and Schaefer spotting up and knocking down threes. And then defensively, I said just being able to contest shots, block shots, getting rebounds, just defensive versatility, I'd say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us about your high school career, and I'm sure you're a guy your size, you've had some options what you could do. Tell us about high school and some of the options you had coming out.
Yeah, so I went to school in Northern Kentucky. I went to Cooper High School. We were pretty good. We made it to regional finals almost every year. And then after high school, I could have gone to Thomas More or ODU, but I wanted to kind of get away from home a little bit. I didn't want to be as close, so that's why I chose ODU coming out of high school.
Exactly. Kentucky high school basketball is set up different than Ohio as far as postseason and things like that. It's all county schools down there, I think, from what I understand, but that's a topic for another time. But tell us about your transition, meeting new teammates, feeling a part of all this.
Yeah, I think that's honestly part of the reason why I wanted to leave, was just so I could get to know new people.
Yeah.
And I think that's just an experience that was like really good for me, just as far as like socially and just getting comfortable around my teammates. So I don't know, I've really enjoyed my time here so far, and I sat out last year, so I'm really excited to start the year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, how's a Kentucky boy going to end up down in Puerto Rico this coming week? And I'm sure you're looking forward to getting down there and playing some basketball against those guys.
Yeah, that's an experience not many people get to experience, so I'm definitely excited for that.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking forward to getting over and watching you guys play, and great job coming up here to Walsh University. Looking forward to a great career. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you.
He's the type of guy you can really plug in and help you.
Oh, there's no doubt, and we were lacking size last year, and we played against him 2 years ago, and he opened our eyes as a freshman down there, and when he hit the portal, it was a no-brainer for us.
Exactly. Well, Coach, it's always fun talking to you. Best of luck. I'm going to try and get over there when I can and watch you guys play, but best of luck in Puerto Rico, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Joe. Always good to be here.
There you go. Hey, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back next week with more high school and college basketball. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.